turn red?
I mean, well, mine
Is it red?
said, I mean,
All right, guys, we're on. I'd like to thank everyone for coming out to our London City Council meeting. If you'll please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silent reflection. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And we'd like to welcome our new clerk this evening. This is Erica Watkinson. Could you please take our roll call?
Greg Eads,
Here.
Josh Peters,
here,
Brian Robinson, Henry Comer,
Here.
Richard Hayes,
Present.
Andrew Hitt,
Here.
and John Stahl.
Present.
All right, good to see everyone this evening.
Erica, is your microphone on?
It's green.
Yes.
That's
just
it.
pull
I'll move it closer.
All right, thank you. All right, has everyone had a chance to take a look at the minutes from our last meeting? All right, any changes or corrections there? All right, all in favor of approving the minutes from our last meeting, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. All right, the minutes are approved. We do not have any public hearings this evening. We do not have any communications or announcements. And we do have on our agenda this evening approval of our Ward 3 representative. If you remember Anthony Smith, he was our Ward 3 representative, and he chose to step down from that position, and it was vacated. And the Republican Central Committee, they met to hopefully fill that position, and they were unable to do that successfully. So it is our duty here to follow up with that, to hopefully be able to fill that Ward 3 spot so that we'll have a full council here. Any discussion on the approval of the Ward 3 representative? We had one person that was actually interested in that position that was in Ward 3. We had several people interested, and unfortunately, they were either really close to that ward and ended up being a different ward, but we did have interest in that position. We have any discussion on that Ward 3?
Mr. President,
Yes.
I move that we go to executive session to discuss personnel.
Okay, so we have a motion to go into executive session to discuss personnel. Do we get a second?
A second.
Okay, clerk, could you take the roll call for executive session?
Mr. Eads,
Yes.
Mr. Peters,
yes.
Mr. Comer, Mr. Stahl,
Yes.
Mr. Hitt,
Yes.
Mr. Hayes.
Yes.
All right, so we are entering our executive session. Gary, did you want to invite?
You want to do that now, or you want to do it in message? You want to discuss it beforehand? It's up to you. It's your call.
Yeah, I want to invite him
Please do.
in. And in our executive session, we would like to invite Michael Norman.
Bless you. Oh, wow. You just stay over there.
Yeah.
Entertain a motion to exit our executive session.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, have a first and a second to exit our executive session. Clerk, could you please take the roll call?
Mr. Eads?
Yes.
Mr. Peters?
Yes.
Mr. Hayes?
Yes.
Mr. Hitt?
Yes.
And Mr. Stahl?
Yes.
We have exited our executive session, and we're discussing the approval of the Ward 3 representative, and we did have one person that showed interest in that, filling that position, and that was Mr. Michael Norman, and we're all familiar with him. He's been to a lot of our council meetings and committee meetings, and he's been very vocal in local city government. Do we have any, yes, discussion?
Well, yeah, please. Mr. President.
Yes.
Knowing that we'd only had, that I knew of, the one candidate and a couple others that didn't live in that ward, I did reach out to the Mary Mac Miracle group and asked them, because they had been so involved in the help at Mary Mac, and asked them if they had anyone that would consider running for the ward, but we obviously didn't get any other applications or letters of interest or anything like that.
Okay. And we did have that posted in the Madison Messenger, and we also had that posted on our city site to give, plenty of notice that that position was available and how to contact us if you were interested in that position. Okay, any further discussion?
Would you like to ask Mr. Norman up if he wants to say anything? Or-
Yeah, Mr. Norman, would you like to come on up and speak? I know we've received your resume and everything, and you met with Mr. Eads and I the other day.
I did.
So, yep,
Michael W. Norman, 188 South Oak Street here in the great city of London, Ohio. First, I'd like to thank you for allowing me to be part of this process. I take this opportunity very seriously. I take the position that you're trying to fill very seriously. I kind of feel I've already said this, but I'm just going to reiterate it a little bit. I feel I'm your best candidate. Well, right now I'm your only candidate, but I think I'm your best candidate in general. First of all, because of time. I think we as a city have reached an impasse where we have several issues that are vital to the growth and quality of life in our city, and they're hitting us all at once. The clock's ticking. The issues need to be resolved quickly and efficiently as possible. I feel that it's going to require more than probably 2 meetings a month in a committee meeting. There's probably going to be more meetings to get these issues resolved, because it seems like they're all hitting us at once. I expect the upcoming year there's going to be a lot of meetings, and I'm more than willing to show up and do what I need to do for those. Secondly, I think my knowledge, while I'm not the only citizen in London who shows up to the various meetings, I think I can say in confidence that I show up more often than most. And because of this, I feel it puts me in a position of knowing a little bit more than the average citizen out there. I've also been called by some as the public records request king, because I do research on some of the issues discussed at these meetings. These two things will allow me, if put in this position, to kind of hit the ground running, because I am familiar with most of at least the 3 main issues: the infrastructure, the community center, and the fire EMS. And if you want to add the police department to that, you can add that too. I've been in the meetings, I've heard everything, so I'm kind of ready for that. Third, representing the citizens of London. To have the privilege to officially represent my fellow citizens of London would be a true honor. I would like to point out, though, that I have kind of already unofficially represented some of the citizens. Most, if not all, of the issues that I bring to you are from citizens who have stopped me in Walmart on Sunday afternoons and said, hey, you know, this is going on, you know, that's going on. Emails, messages, and that's where I get my topics or whatever I bring to you 90% of the time is from someone else. And then I research it and bring it to you. The fourth thing is influence. While I have not presented any legislation or I've not voted on any issues, I feel that I have made some substantial influences over the recent years by providing information that if I had not provided might have made a negative impact on the city. Having the meetings to be live on Facebook is one that I don't know how many years it took me to finally see that happen. I didn't do it, but I think I was here to poke you to do it. The other thing is there was some clarification of information during the sanctuary city issue that I think had I not went out to another city, had I not researched the situation in Lubbock, Texas, where we were told, hey, we won't be sued. If we do, we won't have to pay anything. I think if I wouldn't have done the research and brought it to that finance meeting to show, hey, they are paying, it might have turned out a different way. And then the crosswalks, I asked for those, and we're getting them. So I kind of feel I had a little bit of influence there. And then lastly, it's my love for the city. I love the city. It's big enough that we have most everything we need, our shops, our services. We have almost everything we need to be self-sufficient here. But we still maintain that little smallness that we know each other and everybody knows each other. So I love that about us. And I look at the past and I see the things we've done in the past, and there's only love there. And then I look into what the future could be. A future with a funded fire EMS, with a new police station, with a community center. I stood here, I think it might have been a year ago, and I said that the expectation is I don't want one of these things, I want them all. And I think what I've seen from the council that we have is that there's been a big movement to try to get all these things done. And it excites me to see this, and I want to be a part of it. So that's why I'm here. And that's pretty much it. So.
Okay. And no matter the outcome of the vote tonight, you do plan to run in the upcoming election?
Right, I do plan to run. I mean, either way, I still have to run. If you appoint me, I have to run.
Right.
If you don't appoint me, I'm going to run.
Okay.
So,
All right.
you're not through with me yet.
All right. Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Any questions for Mr. Norman? All right. Thank you.
Anything? Nope.
All right, council, we've heard from Mr. Norman, and we've also had our executive session discussing what are our wishes here for the Ward 3 representation.
Mr. President, I nominate Michael Norman for the Ward 3 representative position.
All right, so we have a motion. Do we have a second? All right, we have a motion to approve Mr. Norman as the Ward 3 representative, and we're looking for a second. Okay, we do not have a second to the motion, so that motion stands alone and does not move forward. All right, so at this point, there's going to be another set of processes that will take place to hopefully fill the third ward position. All right, thank you. Now on to our audience concerns. I have those right here. All right, we'll begin with, Andrea Dillion is not here this evening, but I see Mrs. Anita Likens. State your name, address, and you have 5 minutes, please.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anita Likens, 157 East First Street, London, Ohio. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. You've all heard me read this. I started back in March, January, whenever it was. I've read many other things. I've brought to your attention the articles that were in New Yorker. I've talked about President Reagan's speeches for his inauguration. And currently I've been working with Clyde Hughes, and he wrote a paper, and I've been reading that to you, and so I've been gone a little bit, but I'll get back to it. But you also know that I'm involved with the USO. And I think tonight I wanted to share just a few moments with you on why I'm here doing this. I am not here to give you a history lesson. You've all been through it in your civics class, your government classes, whatever. You're all well-read people. You've probably seen these articles. My goal is to bring it back to mind why we're here, why we participate in our local government, why we work through our state governments, why even though we're pulling our hair out to get a Speaker of the House, it works. Our way of a republic in a democracy works. It may not be pretty all the time, but as President Reagan noted, we are the light. Our system is the light that brings people here, and people want to do it. And if this light goes out, why is there any place else to go that has a government like we do? So thank you all for everything you're doing and what you're doing. We're here to keep that in mind, that this is important, what we do locally. The other thing that brought this to my mind that I wanted to take a few moments and bring this off the cuff is because I do work at the USO. The other day, a young lady came in, and she had her 2 little girls with her, and they were running around and doing the things. And I noticed as she was walking by me, her right arm, she picked things up, including her children, and she clutched them to her side because she did not have a hand on her right arm. And we got to chatting, and in the course of that conversation, it came out that she had seen both her parents murdered. She was from Colombia. In the village she was in, her parents were murdered in front of her. And then the children that were left that had seen their parents die, their right arms were amputated with machetes. The American government and the military came in and saved those children, brought them to America. She married a serviceman, and she says she still has trauma that she deals with because of what she saw and what she experienced. But as this gentleman's shirt, I couldn't help but notice it in the back, and thank you for wearing that shirt. All gave some, but some gave all. Thank you. That is why we're here. That's why we're looking at Constitution. That's why we're working with the local government. We're trying to do what is right for the rest of the world. So with that, I'm going to close my comments. I've got the rest of Clyde Hughes' speech. I will come back to that the next time. I hope you don't feel like I'm pushing that off. I am not. I think he's got a lot of good words. But I really appreciate, I know the City of London appreciates, keep fighting the good fight, that we do what needs to be done to retain our way of life and our government. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We definitely do appreciate hearing that, because it's not, we don't do this to receive thanks, but we do appreciate it when others understand the positions that we're in when we're in the position of making decisions. So thank you very much. All right, next we have Michael Norman. Would you still, yeah, okay?
First, let me say thank you for allowing me to be part of the process of what we just went through. And although, you know, I can't say I'm happy about it, but it is what it is. But I do appreciate the time that you gave me in the room to talk and maybe clear up a couple of things. I truly appreciate that. Like I said, I'm still gonna run, so you might end up with me anyways, maybe. What I got in front of you is Melody Earl, I think is her last name. I'm terrible with names, but I know her name is Melody. I just may not have the last name.
Pretty sure it was Melody Earls who
Earls.
spoke at the last meeting.
Right.
Okay.
Melody Earl spoke to the last meeting, and she was talking about, not everybody has social media, not everybody can get on the web to find out when these meetings are. So as I do, I did a little research. What you have in front of you is an ad that could be placed in the Madison Messenger. The cost of it's $308. I don't think that's a lot to spend to pick up those people who don't actually get on social media and, or the web, to see when these meetings are. That's just a sample, but I think I would like to see that we actually put those meetings in the paper, because apparently there is a need for one. We've had a couple people come and ask for it. I don't think $308 a month, what would that be, $3,600 a year out of a $6-7 million budget is too much to ask. So I'm just requesting that you consider it, and hopefully we'll see it happen. That's it, thank you.
All right, thank you. I know that we do receive a copy of the meetings that are scheduled for the month. Do you know if those are also sent to the paper, or those are sent to the paper as well? So is this, what? Okay. Yeah, but it's similar to that, because I know we get a list of all the meetings for the committees and everything, so, and that is sent to, okay, that is sent to the paper as well. So, let's see here, I'm gonna take a look at the listings here. Yeah, all of the meetings that we receive are listed on here, so those are sent to the messenger already.
Right, but they're not published.
Okay, so they don't publish those, but we send those to,
So I would request that we request that they publish so that people can see them. Just like Melanie said, you've got some, you don't get on the web, you don't do the Facebook. And I think it's like Melody said, you have people out there who don't get on the web, don't use the Facebook. And I think for such a minimal amount, $308 a month, to be able to reach another set of audience. And it probably will cost you guys less. This was the consumer price if I was to do it myself, was $308. So you might have a better deal because you're, but the actual size is a quarter page. So it would be a quarter page ad, and you would run it as an ad instead of a legal announcement. But however you want to do it, I don't really
Okay.
care, as long as we get it in there and people can see. Please.
all right, thank you, and that's definitely something for us to look into, especially since we send that to them already. So that is something that we can look further into. Thank you for bringing that. All right, on to our committee reports. I think we've had one committee meeting so far. Mr. Eads?
We did, and I'm the only person here tonight that attended that, so
All right.
I guess I'm gonna cover that. So last night was the Service Committee meeting. Mr. Landon McKenzie and Mr. Bill Long both came to fill us in on some ongoing items. I'm not gonna go through everything. I'll try to hit a few things. I believe the total revenue for the basketball program is right around $32,000, give or take. And the expenses, if I remember, around $13,000 or $14,000, give or take. I haven't totaled these in front of me. But I'm glad that he shared that information. The expenses included buying uniforms, paying for the referees, concessions, and part-time payroll. They are going to have spring volleyball out at the school. They're working that out today. They were supposed to meet. And the other thing that he addressed in here is that the community center is being torn down. They have 2 weeks after the youth basketball season, which is going to end, I believe, on the 14th. So they basically have till the end of the month to remove anything out of the building that they want to keep. The building then gets turned over to the contractor after that. Anything remaining in the building belongs to them. They are going to put items, they have some items that they want to put on govdeals.com, including dividing curtains, furnaces, backboards, scoreboards, and some other items. I don't know, the mayor may address this later, but they did bring that up last night, that this is the process. The mayor did say that they're going to have a meeting with the contractor here in a couple weeks also, I believe, or before that, so they can start to discuss what's going to stay in the building, what's going to come out. And then we have the street department report. It was a short report for him this month, normally 2 or 3 pages. This was only a page. They did have a truck that was hit in a head-on crash, a plow truck. I think they had 2 trucks down at that time. One was mechanical, one was hit in the crash. One of them's back up, but then they have another truck down. So they've been down a couple trucks. The most recent one, it blew an air tank, and they were trying to get that repaired. I asked if there was any feedback on the snow removal, and I didn't receive any negative feedback. Bill said he really didn't see anything either, and Rex Castle commented that he'd been in Columbus, Grove City, Hilliard, and London had by far the best streets right after that snow in his travels. I did ask about the pedestrian crossing signs, if that's what we're looking at there. They said that they're starting to get some of the equipment in. They still don't have a deadline for that or a timeline for that. And I just asked if it was time to talk about capital expenditures, which, well, they said they're going to start talking about that soon, because that'll be something we have to address. And then Rex did share that he submitted some documents for the South Side Storm Sewer project that he had to do online. So they've got some upcoming work plan, but that is the gist of the meeting last night.
All right, thank you. And Mr. Peters?
Just a reminder, there will be a finance meeting on Monday, January 9th, I believe, 6 PM.
All right, thank you. Mr. Hayes?
Yes, we had a special BPU meeting today. We talked about sewer, water, and trash rates. Coming in 2 weeks, Mr. Lalonick will be here, department heads will be here, the engineers will be here, and they will have a graphic and have graphics on the big screen to show us what we're going to do here in the next 36 months as far as our water, our sewers, and hopefully getting our water plant running. So that's about all I can give you right now because I don't have all the notes.
All right, thank you. Mr. Hitt?
Yeah, nothing new, but the safety committee meeting is Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, the 10th at 5 o'clock in the meeting room over here.
Okay. Mr. Stahl, anything?
I'm going to attend the meetings that I'm
Okay.
supposed to next week, everybody's already mentioned.
All right, thank you. All right, on to city official reports. Well, we have this mic here, so that way we can record you.
Wish you guys a happy new year. I'm not gonna take much of your time. I'm getting the, state of the city address put together, and then hopefully be bringing that at the beginning of February.
All right. On to old business. We have several tabled items here. Ordinance 14622, ordinance 14722, and 15122, and those all deal with the Pulte Group, bringing new housing here into the city of London.
That's not true, not all 3.
Or let's see here.
2 of those are from the Board of Public Utilities.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
146 and 147 are about rates.
That's right. Let's see here. The one about the Pulte Group, let's see here, which one is that?
It's 151.
151, 2022. That one is going to hopefully move at some point. I did speak with Jim Hills, and they met, I think it was today, with the property owners there, so they are still working on that project, so. And we do want to keep all of these three items tabled, and there's nothing new on the others, correct?
Correct.
Okay, on to old business, second reading. Ordinance 21922, a motion to read by title or number.
So moved.
Second.
All right, first and second. Clerk, could you please read the ordinance?
Excuse me, ordinance 21922, sponsored by Greg Eads. An ordinance to increase the municipal income tax by 0.25 of 1%, 0.25% per annum for a continuing period of time commencing July 1st, 2023, of which increase 1/4 of 1% per annum shall be used for the purposes of providing funds to pay costs of acquiring, constructing, furnishing, equipping, improving, maintaining, and repairing municipal fire department facilities, to pay general operating expenses of the fire department, and to pay any expenses and debt service charges for debt incurred in connection therewith, and declaring an emergency.
So this is the second reading. We had discussed this numerous times after two failed attempts to help the fire department. This is the third attempt, at least in this cycle. So this is the third attempt to do so. 0.25% is what we discussed as a group was going to be an appropriate amount. I don't personally see any way around this without doing other things, and we don't want to scare anyone, and we don't want to make this seem negative, but they need the money to get through. They're going to operate at a deficit this year of possibly $500,000 to $800,000. They need the funds to move forward.
Okay. Any further discussion on 21922? All right, thank you. On to Resolution 22022, a motion to read by title or number.
So moved.
Second.
All right, clerk, could you please read the resolution?
Resolution 22022, sponsored by Greg Eads. A resolution to place the issue of increasing the municipal income tax by 0.25 of 1% per annum for a continuing, for a continuing period of time as provided in ordinance number 22022 on the ballot at the election to be held on May 2nd, 2023, and directing the Board of Elections of Madison County, Ohio to conduct such election and declaring an emergency.
Mr. President,
Yes.
we may need to make a correction here.
Okay.
If this is done correctly, maybe I just misheard this or didn't understand. Per annum for continued period of time, as provided in ordinance 220-22. Should that read as provided in ordinance 219?
22, right, because that is the ordinance that we're reading, is 22022. So yeah, this would refer to ordinance 21922.
And if you need a motion, I move that we amend that to read 219-22.
Okay, can we get a second?
Second.
All right, so we have a first and a second to amend 22022 to actually say 21922. Okay. Motion and a second. Get a roll call vote to,
Mr. Eads?
Yes.
Mr. Peters?
Yes.
Mr. Hayes?
Yes.
Mr. Hitt?
Yes.
And Mr. Stahl?
Yes.
okay, that 22022.
Now,
has been
Mr.
amended.
President, so this is what allows us to place it on the ballot to give the people the right to vote whether or not they want to support the fire department.
Okay. And as you said, this will be it's the fourth.
This is the second reading.
The fourth time it's been on the ballot.
Third.
Presented, it was originally, is this the third, this is the third or the fourth?
This would be third.
Third.
Okay, because it was originally put on the ballot when what's it, okay, it wasn't income tax, got it, okay. So it was originally put on the ballot when with the original split, and it did not pass then as well. So, all right, so any other discussion here on 22022? All right, and we do not have any new business, so on to roundtable. We'll begin with Mr. Stahl.
Glad everybody's here tonight, and welcome to a new year. I hope we get a lot of good things done. And There's an election coming up. It's very exciting. I'll be trying again for my next time. I just finished 25 years last meeting, so I'm looking forward to my next two. Some people say, why do you still want to do it? I said, I still have that little fire that I had when I started back in '82. And at that time, before that, I'd won a contest to name the city motto, London, a proud heritage, a promising future. And I think we still have a promising future, and that's why. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Mr. Hitt?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Michael Norman for his interest in the city and the position on council. Appreciate the research that you do, and good luck in the fall. That's it.
All right, thank you. Mr. Hayes?
My kudos to Mr. Norman also. I echo what Mr. Hitt says. I'd like to thank all the city employees for jobs well done, especially street department clearing the streets. I'd like to say a prayer, or I'd like to keep the Buffalo Bills football player in your prayers. He's making a speedy recovery. I was at the game the other night when that happened. I'll never forget it. Everybody was great. Fan base was great. But keep that young man in your prayers. Keep the city of London in your prayers. And we ask the Lord God Almighty to watch over our city, our citizens, keep us all safe and well. Safety meeting, January 10th, Tuesday evening in the conference room, 5 o'clock.
All right, thank you. Mr. Peters?
The only thing I have, again, finance meeting Monday, January 9th, 6 PM.
All right, thank you. Mr. Eads?
Mr. President,
Yes.
thanks.
All right, you're welcome.
Given this a little thought, been here, up here for a year, obviously, there's things that I would like to see changed, and I want to say some things publicly here, because I've talked to people at committee meetings or talked to council members individually about a few of these things. I just want to bring these out publicly now. I would like to see the city come up with a way to do a sidewalk repair program. Right now, we have $200,000 that we've left in a fund that we're not going to use at this time. I think that may be a good use of the money, is to come up with a sidewalk repair program. I have thoughts on how to do that. I shared that with Mr. Hitt, with Councilman Hitt, a couple months ago. We just because I had thoughts, and other places do that. But I think if we're going to make this city nicer, we have to have sidewalks that people can walk on and travel on and not feel like they're going to fall down and get hurt. Secondly, way earlier in the year, one of the first things I brought up is many towns have a wet basement program. It helps those people that have problems with their sewer systems when the problem is caused outside of their home. So there are places they have done that. I would like the city council to consider looking into a wet basement program, figuring how we can do that. One of the comments was made, well, how do we choose that? Well, let's work on that. You know, how do you pick and choose? Well, let's look at that and work on that. I also think it's imperative that we sit here and we try to make decisions, and we've heard lots of people come up here and give us their opinions over the last year on what they like or didn't like about some of the ideas that came to council. I think the community survey, if we work with the administration, council, citizens, let's come up with something that we can somehow address the citizens of London, let them have their input in that way. And we can get a record of that, not just a single person seeing us in the store or, you know, an email, but let's try to get a better handle on what the people really want, because we may just be bumping up against the wall because we don't really know. I would also like to see more transparency up here. I would like to see more transparency by having all of our committee meetings recorded. I think people don't get all of the information. It's hard to find the information. If we have to come in here because this is where the camera is, or if there's one in the conference room that I don't know if we can do that, but I would really like to see all of our committee meetings recorded along with the minutes that we take. I think that's the best way to share the information, is to get it out there by recording it. Otherwise, thank you all for for the discussions we've had for the last year, I look forward to the next year.
All right, thank you very much. And a couple of those things there that you did mention, like the recorded committee meetings and everything, I have discussed that too with Rex, and we are looking into that to see if there's another folder we can add to the YouTube live stream that we do now, if we can add another one to that. So then that way, I would actually like to hold those committee meetings here in council chambers so that we can have those recorded so they can be watched later and so people can watch those live as well. Because I do feel those are public meetings and those should be viewed and they should be open to the public because it's a public meeting for the public. So I do agree with that as well. All right. And I'd also too like to I wish everyone a happy new year. I hope that everything works out in all of our favor, the best interests of the city in this upcoming year. You know, all the city employees, for all the different departments, and for the community as a whole. I mean, we watch government on the big stage every day now. We're watching, they can't even come up with a Speaker of the House yet because there's so much division and so much divisiveness going on in government. So I hope that here, at least in our local government here, that we're able to make a difference. And hopefully we can make a difference here to be an example to the state and to be an example to the country and to be an example to the world. And Mr. Norman, I do, you know, I know you're going to get your petition out, and I encourage everyone, again, take a petition out. Become even more a part of your local city government. There's no rule that says that, you know, only these people here or the people you've seen before are the only ones that are allowed to take out petitions. I was brand new to this at one point. No one knew me. No one knew my name. Nobody knew who I was. But all I did was took an initiative to get involved. So I am encouraging everyone to please get involved. And you can get involved by taking out a petition and having all the amount of signatures that you need to have and getting that turned back into the Board of Elections at the time that you're supposed to get that back in, which is February 2nd. Encourage everyone, and it's excuse me, and it's not a it's not mandatory either that you're a citizen, that you were born and raised in London, Ohio. You know, people feel like, oh, you're not from London, you're not born and raised there, then, you know, you don't have London in your veins. It's like, you know what? I've lived here for about 19 years now. I've dedicated my life and family business even to helping the city of London grow. So I've drank the water and I've breathed the air, so I have London in my veins, even though I was born in Columbus, you know. So I do encourage everyone, become a part of the local city government, even if it's to view the meetings or to attend the committee meetings or council even. So really encourage everyone to do that. Entertain a yes.
You said February 2nd, I believe it's February 1 at 4 o'clock.
February 1, 4 o'clock. Don't listen to me, listen to the Board of Election. And even when you fill those petitions out, they give you a form that's filled out in red. You want to follow that every single time you fill out anything on that petition, because I would say that the petitions are so simple, they're easy to mess up. They're very simple, and it's easy to miss something. So please follow the example that they do give you if you decide to take out a petition. So, obtain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to